Hi, this is Marcia. Welcome back to Markets of Sunshine. Hope everyone is having a great day. And today I'm going to do something a little bit differently. And I wanted to first of all start off with showing you some of the quilts that I've made over the years. Okay, so this is the first one. So here at Markets of Sunshine, not only will I teach you different things like quilting and crocheting and needlework, junk journals, all types of different things, whatever it is that I know and that I am in the mood for that week, or a series that I'm doing. I did a handmade gift guide series. So this was my first handmade quilt, and this was all done by hand. The only thing that I did on the machine was the binding. Okay, so, and I hand quilted it. Let me move the chair a little bit more out of the way. And this is a sampler quilt. So if you're familiar with a sampler quilt, you know that each block is a different pattern. And I started this many years ago. Let me turn it this way so that you can see the heart applique down here at the bottom, and the heart going the right direction. And I don't remember all the names of the squares right at the moment, the patterns, but I will look it up and then I will put it in the description box below. But here on the first heart in the middle, you can't tell it, but from the back, when you look, and if you can see it through the lighting, you could see that I actually quilted a heart right there in the center of the top one. And then the bottom, but I just wanted to show you all the hand quilting work that you can see on each block. And I did it mainly in the ditch, which means you outline where you stitched each of the blocks together. So I know I did the log cabin, the 9-patch, the drunkard's path. I think one of these are probably some kind of a 9-point star or something like that. But basically, really, honestly, I don't keep track, because and when quilting, with me getting into the quilting world, is kind of like how I named my junk journal. If you saw that series of me doing the fabric cover junk journal, I'm a rebel quilter. I'm a rebel crafter. So I step outside of the norms, and I'm not so much consumed with knowing all the expert terminology. I learn it, and then I know it, but then it kind of like, because it's not like this is what I do in my Etsy shop all the time. So it's not like I say, oh yeah, I'm going to do a Dresden plate pattern, or the log cabin pattern, or the 9-patch. I mean, something simple. Those are the things that, simply I could name off for you. But anyway, so, but like this flower one down here on my bottom right, that is just all appliqued. So it was like hearts, and 4 hearts with a circle in the middle, and then I appliqued those on. And then the very bottom one is the triangles with the square in the middle, and then the heart, and then over here is the square in the middle and more triangles. So it's just different variations. This is the 9-patch here, and then the log cabin here in the middle. I do remember that one. This one over here again, I don't remember the name of it. And then this top left one is the drunkard's path, and I don't I won't go into details of why I'm not an alcoholic. I don't drink, but my father was, okay? So that's the only reason why that kind of stuck with me in his, years. But anyway. Okay, and then this one over here I think is so pretty. So this was an Americana colors that I picked out. And the friend of mine, I was actually teaching my daughter all of the things that I learned, and from a very young age. She's very artistic, very talented, much more talented than her mother, even though she is so humble she won't doesn't see it won't admit it. That's how humble and sweet my daughter is. But she started at the age of 5 doing watercolors, and so right away a friend of mine said, she has that kind of talent, you have got to put her in classes. And I'm like, you think? So I did, and we went to different art places in the area. And then I found friends because I homeschooled my daughter. And till the age of 13, I picked out all her curriculum. And she did go to a preschool, and she hated it. 4 years old, she hated it. Because the children started picking on her, and then she would get in trouble in class. And it was a small little private class, you know. It was just a in a home environment. You know, it was all professional. But I started getting notes from the teacher for my 4-year-old, and she was an only child. So when she was around other children, she was just like so excited to be around other children that she was just wanting to interact with the children, you know. And she would do her work. She was not distracting at all, but she was more like chit-chatting. And now at her age, I find that, you know, hard to believe, because she's very quiet most of the time. So anyway, I have works of hers that she did, and so I put her in hand sewing classes to begin with one friend who is a, you know, proficient seamstress, quilter, and so she started off with all her handiworks. I have a lot of everything. The only thing we did, somehow it got lost through the years, was her little felt people. And so they teach them, you know, how to make little felt people. And so, of course, she was playing with those. And then they got kind of, like I said, lost through the years. But her pillows and her little, like mug rug almost type of things, I have those still. And they're really cute, and I love them, and I have them out. So I'll bring them out for show and tell. But this was my show and tell today. And today's also Ask Marcia. So that's me. And I would like you to ask me whatever it is that you need help with, that you see that I've done here on the channel, whether it's quilting or crocheting or the junk journals, the embroidery, whatever it is. And I can, you know, hopefully look up your answers and find them for you, and then show you whatever it is you need to know. Like one lady asked me about when she was doing her embroidery, after she did the stitches, her block actually shrunk. So I have never had that happen, and I told her, and I've told it yesterday, with yesterday's video, I had to ditch, because unfortunately what looks like it's in the frame to me, when I play it back it's in the frame, but then when I upload it, it's not in the frame. So I don't know what happened. So I got so upset I just ditched it, and so I'm sorry about that. But I have ordered, oh, my arms are getting tired. I have ordered a embroidery hoop frame stand, and I have the floor model, and I found one which I was watching another floss, what do they call that? Floss stitchers now, which is just cross stitching. So they've made a fancy name for cross stitching now called floss stitchers. Why, I don't know. And I'm going to look into that, because I'm curious to see, is floss stitching encompass all kinds of needlework, and does it encompass embroidery? So I'm just curious. But anyway, so floss stitching is the cross stitch world. And so I was watching a lady there because I was curious about what is this floss stitching thing. And she was talking about a particular brand, which I won't mention the brand because it's an outrageous price. And so I said, well, I do need a stand. And when I'm watching other people who are showing you how to do these stitches that go really fast, and people are saying, you're just going too fast, I said, that's why on my channel I'm going to show you slowly, but you need to be able to see me doing it. So I ordered the frame. Then the frame will hold my work. I can put the camera on the frame and know exactly where it is. My hands will be free, so I won't be moving the piece all around. That's what's been happening. That's been the bugaboo problem. And then you'll be able to see my work, and you'll be able to see the stitches slowly, methodically, going for half an hour, 20 minutes, whatever it is that I show you. And you'll be able to see me filling in the pattern, which mine, I'm not doing stamped embroidery. I am taking fabric like I did on this quilt. So this is my vintage hanky quilt. And what I did on each of these blocks, so see, this one's easy because I know these are just vintage hankies. It's not a pattern that I have to remember. What is it? And I do have a very good photographic type memory. I don't know if, yeah, photo as in picture, that type of thing, when you use the terminology photographic, not as in like, oh yeah, I can read a page and then read for you verbatim off of the page. No, I don't know what that, if that's still considered photographic. I don't know, but, so anywho, I do know a lot of stuff, but Lyme disease, I blame it all on Lyme disease. And if you have Lyme disease or know anybody with Lyme disease, you know how it does affect our memory, and we cannot be held responsible for forgetting, okay? Let's just put it that way. So we have one up on people's with dementia. we have a a legitimate excuse. So over the years, like I'm noticing right here, because I do just throw this in the wash, and now this has gotten a little bit of a boo-boo rip here. So I'm going to come in here and I will put a patch on this, and so then I'll just do some, quilting on that. But let's see, down here now I put French knots. Let me come in closer. Okay, so you can see the French knots. So all these, like right here, have the French knots I did on that. And this was just, it was not going to be matchy-matchy. It didn't need to be matchy-matchy. I just wanted to take the hankies and make a quilt out of it. And then this one, I just did all around the border, so I did an applique stitch all around the border. And let me see if I can find another one. Okay, up here. Okay, this one on the flower, I just went in and did a blanket stitch all around the edge, and then I did the French knots on the pink. You can see the pink. And then I did a blanket stitch around this one in the blues. And then over here, I did it in the grays. Oh, I just love this. The gray and the red and the green combination. And now this, what I did on here with the sashing was I just used whatever I had. I just filled this in with whatever I had. So this is just truly a rebel quilter, fill it in type of thing. So this is a feed sack fabric, and then this is feed sack. This was, hard to hold this up. This was one of my daughter's old skirts, but I loved this beautiful, it was not eyelet, but it's, just kind of, just a beautiful, I just love that. So fill this in. Here's more feed sack here. Let me back up again. So, and then this is just cotton fabric. If you recognize this from the other quilt I just showed you that I had left over. So that's what this was. So a lot of feed sack and a lot of the cotton fabrics just left over, and then the back is all eyelet. Just completely one big piece of eyelet that I had. And I didn't realize when I was doing that when I did some of the embroidery, the French knots, you're seeing the outline of that with that thread. But that's okay. I don't care. It's my quilt. So, but next time, don't put the backing on first, Marcia, and then do your embroidery. So, and I think probably what happened was it was kind of like an afterthought. I said, oh, well, let me do some embroidery on those. And because if you notice, the outlines of the blanket stitches wasn't showing up. So that was an afterthought. But that's okay. So now today on this Ask Marcia episode, we're all going to also do an Etsy shop update. So I have some quilt books going into the Etsy shop. And this is just coming out of my stash. They're all really cute, very nice, in perfect condition. No dog-eared pages. I thought this one was really pretty. I love that quilt. Isn't that gorgeous? All fruit. You could put it in your kitchen. Prairie, tablecloth, tree skirt. Come across the camera here and pick this one up. Okay, so this is Quick and Easy Projects for the Weekend Quilter. Okay, so I'm going to play this back and hopefully you'll see it all. So 26 bright new designs for every home. I have more quilt books in my little supply stash, so I'm not going to be, you know, naked. So this is going in the Etsy shop. The other one's already been uploaded yesterday. So this one will go in. And there's lots of techniques, hand quilting techniques. It shows very colorful, full color. So it shows you the patterns. So you get templates. Here's a template for this quilt. So, you know, just take your tracing paper, take it over to the copy machine, however you want to do it. Just beautiful, beautiful fabrics that they show you in here. So that helps you, because if you have a need of help with picking out your fabric combinations, because that can be a tricky part of matching up your lights and your darks and your solids and your prints and your, you know, large prints and your small prints. You know, there's a way to go around this. And of course, you always want to use 100% cotton. Pre-wash everything. Okay, so now I want to ask you a question. So if you have any questions for me, put it in the comment box below. But now I have a question for all of you sewing, quilting, long-timey people, and even maybe you're new to that and you're but something I haven't done. I do all hand quilting. Hand embroidery. I don't have a embroidery machine. I don't have a quilting machine where the feed dog drops down. So, my question to you is, I'm researching. I'm not going to spend $1,000 on a quilting machine or an embroidery machine. I'm not going to spend $600. I'm not going to spend $500. So, I will spend around $200. I don't know, some things, because there's a price range. There is a price range. Now, if it was like embroidery machines only start at $500 sometimes, you know, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen an embroidery machine for $200. If you have, you know, let me know. That was my first thing I wanted to purchase, was an embroidery machine. Excuse me. Okay, so I just woke up at 9, so it was a rough night. But we won't go into that. So I'm trying to hydrate my body, get rid of the congestion. Anywho, now I would like to purchase a quilting machine. So I'm asking you, my YouTube community, so everyone out there who obviously knows about quilting, I've been reading reviews. I'm a big person of, like when I purchase something, I get the manual out, I read everything, you know, before you're going to put it together and all that kind of thing, and then I give it to my husband and I say, go for it, honey, put it together. But I'm right there saying, that's the next piece, you know, because he'll just look at it and, you know, he'll look at the diagram for a little bit because he's, you know, he can put stuff together. But then it doesn't always get put together exactly. So, you know, so I'm there to make sure the shortcuts don't get taken with stuff like that. And so I'm reading reviews, and I was going to buy, because I have a Brother Project Runway sewing machine is what I have. It's adequate, perfectly good. I can sew paper with it. I can sew cardstock with it. I can sew through, you know, my layers of fabrics with it. But you can't do freehand, free motion quilting. And I don't do a lot of big quilts. You know, this is the thing I'm looking at. So I'm trying to think to myself, is it really cost effective? Do I really need it? Am I going to do that much? Or can I just stick to my hand and quilting and embroidery? So I'm asking you, my YouTube community, and I would please, 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 if you know, please comment and tell me which machine for a beginner and someone who doesn't want to spend thousands of dollars on an embroidery machine or a quilting machine. And I looked at the the Brother CS7000i quilting machine, which you can get for around $200. $174 is the cheapest I found. And, but the reviews, people were complaining that the bobbin, if you don't get the bobbin perfectly, exactly right, I mean, how many ways can you do a bobbin? I don't know. So, now my, just basic sewing machine, the brother, I don't have a problem with that. I know how to put the bobbin together. But it says the bobbin jams up. It gets, like, you know how your thread bunches all up on you underneath, and that with that machine, apparently that seems to be an issue. And then second was that the bobbin, if you do not get it threaded properly, again, so if you have one of those machines, or what issues, so this is, okay, the first one is for a beginner. This is my first question. For a beginner, which would be a good basic quilting machine, not embroidery, but quilting machine, for a beginner, that's only a couple $100. I'm hoping that some of you started there, and then, as you maybe got into it more, you went ahead and invested more. And then my second question is, what issues with your machine? So one of my friends has a Juki, another has Bernina. I don't even remember now. There's another really expensive brand that a friend of mine has, and it's all computerized. And you know what the name is, but I can't think of the name right now. It's been years since I was able to go see her. But she bought one of the computerized ones that can do embroidery. It can do the freemotion quilting. Oh, it's right there. It's coming to me, so I'll just keep talking, and then it'll probably pop in my mind. Okay, excuse me 1 second. Okay, so now, just being human here, people. All right, so what issues do you run into with the freemotion quilting? And is it worth it for just a person who is not going to be doing a lot? Now, what I wanted to use it for was, if you see Julia's channel, Stitching by Julia, I think is what her channel name is, and she does a lot of the freemotion quilting, and she has like a pattern that she'll trace onto the fabric, and then she, instead of hand embroidery it, she freemotion stitches it. So it's kind of like freemotion embroidery is what it is. And so I want to do that with some of my daughter's artwork. I think that would be so beautiful to do. And I'm going to transfer her artwork onto fabric, which I've shown you how to do that when we did the Rebel Quilter series. And then I want to, because all of her drawings are black and white, and then we colored them in some, later on down the road, which I put onto note cards because people wanted them in color. So I have her original black and whites, and I want to do that technique of transferring it onto the fabric and then doing the stitching without me doing the stitching by hand. So is it worth it to invest for me to just do that and for my own, personal enjoyment? And then, or should I just stick to the hand quilting and hand embroidery? Okay, so you people who have a machine, what kind of problems do you run into? Husqvarna. Ha 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 ha. See, I knew the name would come to me. I got it. Okay, which those are just as expensive. And the Juki quilting machine was like $1,000. I'm not going to pay that. Husqvarna is very expensive. I don't even know. Into the thousands, $600, $700, $800. So anywho, but so that's my question to the community. So I would really like to know, what would be a good machine for a beginner that's only a few $100s, and what issues have you come upon? And everybody keeps saying, just read your manual really, really good when you buy any kind of freemotion quilting machine. And I watch another YouTuber who, her and I are both of the same faith, and so if you go over to my Instagram, it's Markets of Sunshine _JW. So I just found her. I didn't find her because, through that, but on YouTube, I do put JW YouTubers, which is, a hashtag over there, but on what did I say? On Instagram. Did I say YouTube? Probably. So, but on YouTube, I haven't come across that, and I haven't typed it up there because I don't think people really, look for that. But anyway, so now she's my friend because she's my spiritual sister, Jean, True Love Quilts. And she has a Juki, but she does have a brother, and I don't remember if it was the Project Runway, but she was like saying, okay, I'll let my granddaughters use that when they come over. And I asked her, but she hasn't answered my question, so I said, okay, I'm going to ask the YouTube community. So please, if you can give me some feedback on this, I would really appreciate it. I want to know, first of all, and I just, I'm not going out to stores anymore. So because of, the coronavirus, and I'm in a high-risk category, but I would have gone to Joann's and sat down with the ladies and had them demonstrate the machines, which I wish I would have done years and years ago, and then I could have talked to them, and then I would love to have classes. That's really what I want. I need, and my other friends who are, professional seamstresses that live in the area, none of them are quilters, so I'm like, what's wrong with you people? So they just make clothing, which, okay, that's very, very useful. I'm not, I can understand that. So I cannot go to them. They do not have freemotion quilting machines, and then only one does have an embroidery machine, which is very expensive. And, but she did mainly like, for businesses, and they want to put their initials on the front of the baseball cap, or something on the, logos and things like that. So hers, I don't think she really got into actually the decorative side of it. And again, so, and then with her embroidery machine, she said the threads were very, very expensive. So that's kind of why I've stayed away from the embroidery machine. So I don't have a serger because of that reason, and I don't do clothing. I can make aprons, that kind of thing, more into that area. But, so please, trying to keep this short and sweet, and if you can help me out here, I would really appreciate it. And that's another question for the freemotion quilting machine. Is it just, it seems like it's just one thread that you're using, and it seems like there has to be a specific type of thread. So I was reading that in the reviews also, and some of the ladies were saying, stay away from this type and only use this type and you'll be fine, And it says there's a lot of headaches in the beginning of with the learning curve. So that's where I'm kind of like, is it worth it? Isn't it worth it? That's where I'm hanging on the fence about this thing. So anyway, so I wanted to show you now. I'm going to switch the camera around. We're going to go to the table, and I just want to show you real quick, just to wrap this up, what I did yesterday, finishing up my quilt block with the embroidery. So turn you around. Slow, slow, slow. We're going to look outside just for a little brief second. Yay, good morning. No birdies, no squirrels eating today at the window. Okay, so here's what we worked on. And I'm just going to leave the hoopah here because I'm going to finish this up. But just wanted you to see all of the beautiful stitching that I was able to get completed, and sorry that you didn't get to see any of this on camera yesterday. Just breaks my heart. But all of the Lazy Daisy, which is basically a chain stitch, is all the Lazy Daisy is. And then this is your stem stitch here. I outlined all this. Came in here. French knots are the little bluish gray. And then the blanket stitch, which I'm still going to finish and go around here. So I will wait until I get my handy dandy stand, which is coming today, and my husband's going to put it together for me. And then I will finish that up. And then the next step is going to be, and I'm thinking here what I'm going to do is this is coming off, and I'm thinking I'm going to put some yo-yos down the middle here. So I think that'll be what I'll put here. Okay. And then, of course, the backing and which will be one piece, and the binding. So the backing fabric is going to be large enough to do my binding at the same time, which I love that technique. It's so exciting to learn that. And that's what I did here. So when we made the mug rug, isn't that beautiful fabric? I just love that. It's very fall theme. Very seasonal for the fall. And so what I did all this quilting here on the machine. So this was a Quilt As You Go class, and you can look back on my videos in my playlist. So this is in the playlist of the, on the end card. I do put that in the playlist, so if you watch this all the way to the end, I'll put this, and you'll be able to see me putting that on there. And then after we finish this block, I told you we're going to make a bed runner. And so I will finish that up. I think this needs to be, I don't know what's happening here with this now. Okay, this is supposed to come, alright, that goes on top, so I need to tack all this down. It looks like I need to put some ribbon across here. And I was going to experiment with embroidery with ribbon, and I've never done that, but I've always wanted to do that. So we'll see how that turns out. It doesn't look like it's something that I want to, delve into 100%, but just as an experiment thing one day. And now that I'm going to have my handy dandy little stand, then it seems like a good idea. So we're going to finish up making the bed runner, these 9x15 quilt blocks. Okay, so I'm going to leave you there, and I hope that you will answer the questions below. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask. And then in the next video will be the next quilt block and the fabrics that I'm going to pick out. And I'll show you some more embroidery stitches that we'll do together on that block. And so I'm just going to keep expanding and showing you more and more and more techniques of pretty stitches, and maybe some lettering. We'll do some embroidery, how to make letters and with your embroidery, and that should be really pretty too. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for everyone who's subscribing. Be sure to check out my 200 subscribers giveaway. It is still going on. You can still enter until November 30th, and then the drawing and the winner will be announced on December 2nd. So please check out that video as well. In my video, just go to click on Markets of Sunshine. So after you click the subscribe button, click the little bell, and then if you just click on my name, Markets of Sunshine, that brings you to my whole channel page. And then there's a videos tab. So it's the first one is about, the next one is videos, and then that shows you all of my videos, and then you can just go down. It's just a few videos back of the 200 subscriber giveaway, and it tells you how to enter. And you can go over to my blog at www.marketsofsunshine.com, and I'll put all this in the description below, and you can enter there because you have to fill out the Rafflecopter entry form in order to enter the giveaway.